What is up, guys? It's your boy Paul here, coming at you with another video today. Today what I want to talk to you guys about is taking full ownership and why that's so important. So if you follow any of the big guys on YouTube or any of the entrepreneurs, you'll hear about taking full responsibility, right? Everything is my fault, right? Today I want to touch on why that's a thing and why the successful people adopt it and what it does for you. Okay, so if you are running your own operation of any kind, whether you're leading a team for a business, whether it's your job to head up a certain project, or you are whatever thing you're leading and it involves people especially, what a lot of the people who have been in leadership positions, why they've adopted this mindset is because if you don't, what it does is it causes unnecessary stress. So when something goes wrong, let's take the scenario, something goes way wrong. Let's say, team missing the deadline would be an obvious example, but let's say whatever project you're working on, let's say one of the, not the biggest thing, but something in the middle goes wrong there, right? And it causes a huge delay in the project and whatever else. The immediate thing would be to get frustrated and take it out on the individual who messed up, right? But what the leaders will do is they say, everything is my fault. Everything is my fault. I will take responsibility. Whether that was in how I communicated, whether that was not sharing enough urgency, whether that was I didn't give the proper protocol and I didn't make sure that they understood. I didn't ask the right questions. When you hire someone on and then they have to go somewhere, a couple months later because you didn't ask them, hey, is this something that you're going to be here for a year, 2 years, 3 years for? You didn't ask what their plans were for the future. Everything that a leader does is say, or at least the successful ones, and why this is a thing, is say, this is my fault. I take responsibility for it. And ultimately what this does is, even if it's not directly your fault, because here's the thing, when you take on the thing that everything is my fault, most people will say that's ludicrous. Not everything can possibly be your fault. But here's what happens when you adopt this mindset and why when you say it's my fault, what it does. It allows you to come up with solutions instead of just being frustrated, right? It allows you to say, how could I have done this better without you just directing all your anger? Even if the person who completely messed up, it was on them, well, guess who hired them? Guess who brought them on? You still did. And if you didn't, someone that you hired brought them on, or an agency that you hired brought them on. And that's why, these leaders say everything's my fault. Everything is my fault because everything's come back to me. What can I do different next time to avoid this? What can I do different next time? And here's the thing that I've noticed in my own life. So I'll share a quick example of when I had the landscaping business of something that I thought was very, very lazy, but I still thought it was my fault. So I had sent my crew out, and one of my guys gave me a call, and when he came back, he gave me the news about what had happened to one of my mowers. And essentially, one of the ropes that we had used for the mowers got caught up in the blades and killed the machine. Okay, it killed the machine because the blades were still going. Rope gets underneath, and it gets it all up. This was something that I thought was very, very, very lazy in the thinking. And why on earth are we running the blades if it's not cutting the grass? Why are we running it, one, on the road, and then two, especially when we're putting it up on the trailer when there was ropes there? I stayed calm with the guy, even though I was very frustrated internally. And then I asked him his train of thought. I said, why? I was like, what was going through your head? Why is it that you left the blades on when you weren't on the grass, et cetera, et cetera? So what I had to do with him was go over protocol again. I said, okay, when do we turn the blades on? When do we turn the machine on? What is machine mode when we're on the trail? What is machine mode when we're on the road? What is machine mode when we're on the grass? What are all these things? So I went back through because I said, okay, this is back on me. Even though I thought it was a very obvious thing and a very lazy thing to do to just keep the blades going and mess up a very expensive piece of equipment, I still went back through protocol with him and said, okay, what are the steps that we do? What are the steps that we do? He never made the mistake again. He never made the mistake again. But partially for that too is, he agreed he had to stay after and get the rope undone, and we had to test out the machine because that wasn't something that, that was something that we were going to solve as a team. But that's how I handled that situation. Instead of blowing up on him, I didn't yell at him. He could tell that I was frustrated because of what happened, but I just asked him questions. What was your train of thought? Why'd you do it? Why'd we do this differently this time? Okay, now let's go through what it is to do it right. Okay? And so he never made the mistake again. But I took that on me. And there's been so many things that have gone wrong in my career that I've had thus far, whether it's just on a personal side or on a business side. And what happens when you take full responsibility is it's freedom. Full responsibility, the reason why there's this notion among all these successful people to say, everything's your fault, regardless of what happens, everything's your fault, is because truthfully that's freedom. It's not condemning yourself for anything, because if you've been training your mind, you can learn from it and you're not bothered. But when it's in someone else's court, now it's out of your control. But if you take control for it and you say, nope, this is my fault. Well, now the way you process issues and the way you think of failures, you see them as just learning lessons. So you don't condemn yourself for it. You don't condemn them. And now you're just thinking, okay, what are the solutions? What are the solutions? What went wrong here on why this happened? Now I'm not thinking that this person is just awful. Now, when I go back to talk to the person, if my guy that I talked to would have not responded in the way that he did, okay, I would have had to take further action, because then I would know that it's not my language. He's just being ignorant and being lazy. But he wasn't. I just needed to communicate again on what the protocol was for operating the machines, right? And so sometimes it just takes more communication. But everything that I've said in my life that went wrong, and some things that happened to me, there have been many, 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 many things that have just happened to me from other people. And I said, how is this my fault? I didn't ask the person that. I asked myself, what did I do to maybe get this person to do this to me? Start asking yourself that question. Say someone does something to you, and it's pretty unfortunate or it's pretty sad, whatever the case may be. Ask yourself, was there something that I've done recently, or maybe in the past with this person, to cause them to act that way towards me? Where did I go wrong in this? And sometimes the answer is, guys, sometimes people are just having a bad day, and that's truth be told, and sometimes they just take it out. But for the majority of the situations, there are things that you can probably find, and you can say, wow, I could see how I did that 3 months ago. They've been harboring it, they didn't want to tell me, and so now this came out, and so this wasn't just a random event. I can actually see how this ties back to what I did 3 months ago, right? And so when you take full responsibility, and this is the message that I want to get across on why you should, taking full responsibility equals freedom, which equals solutions, okay? Taking full responsibility equals freedom, which equals solutions. And then you learn and you move forward. And there's no negative emotions with that. And that's the beautiful thing about taking full responsibility, is that even when bad things happen, they're always good things. And that may be another video for another day for why bad things are always good things and everything like that. But it all depends on how you process the bad things. Do the bad things remain bad things, and do they remain things that just get you in a negative state of mind and get you just having pity on yourself and saying, woe was me? Or do they propel you forward and they take you to lead other people and lead yourself into where you want to go, right? So look, that's today's video. Take it. Take the solutions that take that process that I mapped out right there, and apply it to any negative thing or any bad thing that you've been dealing with in your life. Ask, what have I done? What can I do? And what can I do now to fix it? What can I do now to fix it? So look, if this video helped at all, please leave it down in the comments below. I would love to hear what the things are that you're going through and how you're processing these things and how you're going to turn it into a positive situation. If you know someone who could use this video as well, please share it with them. If this helped in any way, give it a thumbs up. And as always, stay tuned for the next video. I will be coming out with them frequently. All right, see you guys on the next one.